Home. It's where we gather with our friends and family. It's where we celebrate life's accomplishments together and support each other through the disappointments life can throw at us. But for the family man of suburban New Jersey, home is where confusion ran rampant and the past was a blur. Thank you for joining the Real Relationships podcast as we look at the case of Jack Campbell and his wife, Kate Reynolds, whose lives got turned upside down when Jack decided against going to London for an internship with Barclays in 1987. That fateful decision would prove to be the beginning of a life of unanswered questions, unrequited feelings, and bitterness that became impossible to hide. 13 years later, Christmas morning, 2000, their kids, Annie, 6, and Josh, 1, are restless and waiting to see what Santa brought them. Jack, for all intents and purposes, is eager for Annie to see the bike he built her. And Josh is in his adorable toy walker, waiting to experience the sights and sounds of the day. Kate is cherishing every moment with her family. As a busy working mom for a nonprofit law firm, days like this are a blessing. But for Jack, something does not seem right. In an unexplainable instant, all that peace, warmth, and happiness was lost. Jack absconded with the family minivan, a perfectly adequate minivan, mind you, and disappeared for the better part of 6 hours. Upon his return, no mention of where he had gone, just tears of happiness from his loving wife, Kate, that he was safe and in time for the neighborhood Christmas party. Where was he though? Why was he gone for the better part of a day? And why did he go to Manhattan? Why did he get lost on his way home? A home him and Kate had shared for over 1 decade. And it was at this very neighborhood party that Paula, their longtime neighbor, who had long been obsessed with Jack, began flirting with the very married man in front of the whole neighborhood. Later, at that same party, Jack berated Kate in front of their friends on her job as a nonprofit lawyer, wrongly assuming that she made no money and therefore was responsible for putting the family in the financial peril he thought that they were in. A fight ensued, coupled with the baggage of his unknown whereabouts just before. Kate was confused. Where did the man she fell in love with so many years ago go? The loving couple seemed to be spiraling downhill over unanswered questions, forgotten anniversaries, and long simmering bitterness. Jack's mood was certainly different. One moment he was clueless as to his life, the next romancing Kate with champagne in a fancy hotel suite overlooking Central Park. Gone was the fun-natured tire salesman, award-winning tire salesman, mind you, Kate loved, replaced with a man who spontaneously bought $2,000 suits, knew how to order fancy French wines, and talked his way into a fancy job at a Manhattan financial services firm. Kate began to suspect, I think as we all would, that Jack was having an affair. Well, with who and why? Kate prided herself on staying in shape, being a fun wife and mom, and showering Jack with love. even if he did not want to shower with her. Now, the Rolling Stones may not have been Jack's favorite band, but Kate assumed that she was at least his favorite shower partner, if you know what I mean. His next move surprised Kate. The family was going to move from suburban New Jersey into a perk apartment until they could find a more than adequate home in Manhattan. See, Jack had magically landed a job at a fancy financial services firm in Manhattan. It all seemed too much too soon to the confused and beguiled Kate. How was Kate going to leave the only home they had ever shared together, the friends and neighbors they knew, and the bowling league Jack had become a part of? At the time, their daughter Annie offered a theory that Jack was not, in fact, her real father, and that perhaps an alien abduction had occurred. At this time, Annie declined any further comment, so we can't get her side of the story. Then, one night, as the snow quietly fell on suburban New Jersey, Jack was gone. Waking up in Manhattan, not with Kate, not with Annie, or with Josh by his side. Instead, he was greeted by a lady named Paula, dressed in a black negligee, ready to give him quite the Christmas present, if you know what I mean. No word on what happened to Kate and the kids after Jack returned to New York City, possibly for good. Some say that Kate was spotted in a Paris law firm heading that office up, but the Real Relationships podcast could not verify that as of press time. So what do you think really happened in the case of the family man of suburban New Jersey? Go ahead and honk that subscribe button like the horn of a perfectly adequate minivan so you never miss anything. New episodes of the Real Relationships podcast and this show drop like a hot clue every Thursday. We appreciate our listeners, our viewers, our supporters. Until next time, hold your friends and family close so we can see you soon.